Hey there, my travelers. I am here today on this kind of gloomy, kind of stormy looking day here. But I'm out at Starlight Distillery, as you guys can see there in the back. I'll be here, I think, most of the day. Not fully sure, but I'm going to be doing their bottling tour and showing you guys their distillery and kind of all about this awesome winery and distillery and this huge farm. Like, all the way back there, we have some vineyards and grapes. So I'll flip this camera around here. Hey there, my travelers. Here we are at Hebrew Wineries, their kind of gift shop, restaurant area here where you start off every tour here going through there, seeing some of the great wines they have to offer and some of their amazing bourbons and whiskeys, where you will go ahead and can do everything from a simple tasting here to going on one of their great distillery tours. They also got a nice cafe where you can get some really great food and everything there. It's a great place to come and start your tour of the day here at Starlight Distillery.
All your coffee, but can you share my email?
Family legacy, since first and foremost, family owned and operated. Full story goes back to Baden, Germany, where Hebrews were producing wine and brandy. Then 1843, they arrived in the States here. Private farms started as 80 acres. Now we're sitting on 800 acres, so very large estate we have since grown to. But the initial first 100 years was a private farm, and they had a big produce company, the Huber's Express, so that was selling some of the fruits and veggies. Then the fourth generation led Carl and Marcella, switched up just a little bit with dairy farming. That building we were just in upstairs, the original barn from 1938. So in the gift shop, we have a lot of the original architecture up there to see at that time. So we pay homage to the fourth generation with popular product names. So on one side, we have our Sweet Marcella for the grandmother, and Bourbon, our flagship. We have Carl T named after the husband there. It was actually Carl was the first whiskey drinker. Everyone before him was either wine or brandy on the fruit side, so kind of having the grain mix spirit in him.
Yeah.
And then with Carl, the fifth generation, they opened up the private farm to the public, so our new picking phenomenon started on, and we're just a couple weeks shy for strawberry season coming in. That's a big thing.
Okay, I knew it was coming up.
Yeah, we'll do like the strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, peaches, but pumpkins, busiest season here. Last year we planted 80 acres of pumpkins just to accommodate the thousands for 12 beds. But it's a fun time. We'll have music, stages, different tasting kits, so it's a little unit itself there.
And then, who are you again?
Oh, Ricky.
Ricky.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm the tour guide manager of the program for Winery Distillery here, but it's nice to have the family working here day to day, because then if you have any questions, more of a historical legacy, you get to have that direct.
Or are they here regularly in and out?
Oh yeah, they all live on property here. That's what when you drive in and see the homes with orchards or vineyards in the yard, and some of the Huber families, and a lot of the extended like aunts and uncles there.
I was kind of wondering that myself.
That's what all the side-by-sides are doing around the farm, because it makes it easier commute driving in when you live on property here and kind of moving from apartment to apartment that way. Yeah. We're on around 6th generation now, so cousins Ted and Greg are our co-ownership. And then all of the children are now working here and kind of highlight family resemblance. I'll point out that big photo on the back wall there. That just shows full family duration of 7. So we have the son AJ and sister Marcy and Allie, and then Christian you might have recognized from upstairs, and then his younger son Blake.
I was wondering, I'm like, you said how. Now, I heard in doing some research that Indiana and like Kentucky actually has more acreage in wine vineyards than California.
It's shocking for people. So like you'll notice like us being in southern Indiana, where a lot of Indiana has that flat geography, we have the nice rolling hills, so it kind of mimics over in Bordeaux because we'll have all the grapevines in the valleys, and then the hot air sinks down, and we grow different varietals not typically common that you'd imagine for this region here.
So cool. Yeah, when I was doing the research, it came up in the article, and I'm like, because people think California is the first place in the States that had wine, but it's actually southern Indiana in this area.
And it's pretty unique because if you come in July, you'll see Chardonnay vineyards just a few feet over from cornfields. Not too many places in the world you get to see all that action in one here.
It's super crazy.
Yeah, we have 18 different varieties on property, not to mention like the strawberry wine, doing all the peach, the apple varieties, and then for the brandy production too, that was our natural transition opening up the distillery here. Yeah, the winery was going in from 79 until 99. It was actually, this room was the full production area. So all the processing of grapes, filtering, bottling was all in this space before we added the distillery and expanded operations.
How many barrels would you guys do a day or a week?
So now they just gave us an update because we have 3 different stills we're actively running at Starlight. So from last Friday, we've done 600 bourbon barrels already for this year. Not to mention the brandy production, and then we're on a gin distillation now on our 82-gallon copper pot.
You guys were just talking about doing gin last time. I was scared.
Oh, goodness. Oh, wow.
That's awesome to see that it's done.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's up
and we have our 8-year bottled and bond, a barrel finished gin up there currently, which is a very unique pour on there. Yeah. Yeah, and then this space, I can kind of show you how the barrels are laid out. So smaller cask are 72-gallon, that's our dry red or white wine production. And then big barrels, those are 130-gallon for our port style wine. Just 8 to 10-year aging on average, so that's that bigger barrel circumference for that region. And then you'll see what the numbers at the top here is how we kind of label system. So first 2 numbers, year barrel was delivered to us. And then second numbers, barrel filled in that year. So 20th wine barrel filled up in 2012 for this particular cask. And then you'll notice the little logo corresponding to the cooperage. For our wine varieties, it's mostly going to be European aging. So Bordeaux is one of our French oak companies. Also have some Omega French company, and then with the Hadar and Merino species down here. Just giving a nice palate and difference. But we use 7 cooperages within the States, and then 11 including our international companies. So it's a pretty big breadth because picking a single barrel just between the different mash bills and then different char levels they utilized there as well. When we had our 175th anniversary of the family farm, large event hosted, all the guests got to sign the barrels, and that's the bourbon we're going to release for our 200-year anniversary. So a specialty passion project within the So all of our bottles use authentic port as the toppers here. Our company is Amora. They're based in Portugal, but we utilize. So at their facility, they'll take a big wire, harvest the bark directly from the tree. And then for the wine side, they're going to process it through a die cut, add our logo, but all the extras they have left here, they grind up and they fabricate our tea corks for all of our spirit bottle toppers there as well. That has like more of the sustainable aspect, just having an agricultural basis. You'll notice that theme, and then pairing ourselves with like companies in that sense. Run, but you'll notice Christian Karl, the German fabricator who made it for us back in 2001, early 2000s. That constant rotation, then they'll hand place the bottle on for the filling up stage before they walk it over to the corker and all that good stuff. And then these little stainless tanks here, if we're doing the dessert wines or the infusions you're talking about, so they'll have the raspberry wine and then the raspberry distillate just aging in the stainless steel so it doesn't get that color interaction from the barrel stays there.
So you do a mixture of stainless, barrels just for that, and then everything else is going to be your wood cap?
Mm-hmm. And then on the top there, that's some of our barrel finished gin. I can see there were previously old bourbon barrels, but it looks like it's been in there since 21 for that gin distillation. We'll distill gin for about a month to a month and a half of our distillation. Me as well, but pretty new addition just arrived back in 21 to our facility. But all comes to the very middle here to filter out. It's about 0.3 microns, so 1 pass through to be bottle ready. And it hits about 1,000 gallons per hour for us. So any of the tanks should be looking at that 2 to 5 hour range here nowadays.
Okay.
And the really nice feature for production, self-pinning machine. So once it's done, automatically shuts off those valves, flushes things back, so we haven't had to change the filter since 21. And this will be manned by 3 to 5 team members, just helping with the loading and unloading. So bottles hand placed onto belt, little chute of CO2 for displacing that oxygen. Then bottle filler will fill 16 at a time, making sure we're even. This will measure it out. Happens to be extra, just goes in the next batch for consistency factor. And then here you'll see where we have our corks loaded into the funnel and hitting into the bottle under pressure there. And then for our cork bottles, just working their way over. And then upper section houses the little plastic or foil capsules. So it'll get tapped onto the bottle, heats up something crazy like 700 degrees Fahrenheit to shrink up and seal it. Then passing through our label or unit. And then finally collecting on the round table, quality checking. So if we find mislabeled bottles, there's 7 added, we'll just use the tasting behind the bar on property there. And then we have, of course, after our 500-gallon copper pot, and then the specs for our more recent edition of our continuous column being added on. And all of the 2 systems in our still house are bin dome, so fabricated close to home in Louisville, Kentucky for us.
I'm just saying, it might just be me, but does it smell like popcorn in here?
Oh, they're probably in there, mixed there, but also we're running a cook this morning. Oh.
I try to be a little bit funny and like quirky, but.
And then you can see like all the different medals, medallions, many more hanging up upstairs for showcasing the competitions and awards. And then barrel heads are with American Craft Spirit Association. The upper photo showcases owner and operator Ted Huber of the 6th generation. He was ACSA's first vice president, so their first years of competitions held in our naming hall up there. But it's nice that branching out is to seeing in the craft community like trends for different distillations that keep returning. Red for distillery products, brandy consideration, we have the 3 versions with grape, apple, and peach. And vodka was the first grain-based beer released, so we named it 31 Stars after a DSP number at Starlight. And then corresponded to gin, which we got to have a little sneak peek of earlier on the 82-gallon pot.
It was really, really good.
And then with our bourbon release, it was first coming out in 2015 as a straight 2-year age. Now nothing is released under year 4. But at that point, they'll taste, decide when they want a bottle. If it shows extra promise and fever eyes, they'll hold it back for their family reserves. This year, we're having our first 10-year come out in July. So it's a huge deal. We're also having a 10-year spice rum and a 10-year single malt going to be released.
You say a rum?
Spice rum, oh yeah. So in the center, that showcases what our still house originally looked like with our 500-gallon pot installation and then vodka column you see. Going in there today, almost near unrecognizable, just bigger fermenters, bigger cooker, and now we have our continuous column installed in there as well. So to see the before and then the after. And then I'll take it into this space, and that's the bigger coming into things there. And then this particular series with our Distillers Club, we had an event. All the Distiller Club members got to taste out of 8 barrels, vote on their favorite. You notice one at the bottom, that was the most popular, so that'll be the membership bottle for this year. But it's a particular series, so with our French double oak barrels, they had barrels fabricated from 5 different forest regions, each giving that different palate and flavor influence, and that's where you can see it notated. NI for Nevers, AL for Allier, notating the particular forest region that barrel fabricated from.
Hey there, travelers, coming right back at you here. I just left this great tour here at Starlight Distillery. It was an absolute blast with Ricky and the gang here. She showed me some absolutely amazing cool scenes that you guys should have seen there in the video. Definitely recommend coming out here and checking this out. It's been a blast. Check out some of this great scenery leaving the distillery. It's been so much fun, and I cannot wait to be back here again. Remember, stay fearless. Keep traveling.